We're going to start in child's pose. So go ahead, send your knees out wide to the edge of the mat. Drop your forehead down to the mat and reach your hands forward. Feel a nice stretch all in your shoulders and your back. Make it an active stretch, reaching forward. Inhale deeply in through your lungs. Feel your belly expand. And as you release, release your belly in first and then your lungs. Continue to breathe deeply as we start our grounding breaths. And on your next inhale, come into tabletop. You can adjust your knees, bring them in so they're stacked under your hips, bring your wrists so they're stacked underneath your shoulders, and your back should be straight. We're going to start with balancing tabletop. So you can extend your leg back. I'm going to start on my left side. So extend your foot back and then extend your right arm forward. And then slowly lift up your foot for balancing tabletop. On your next inhale, you're going to extend that leg out to the side and extend your arm to the other side, using both your core and the adductor muscles to lift that leg. And go ahead, bring it back to balancing tabletop and knee down, hand down. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So extend your right leg back and extend your left hand forward this time. Stay for a few breaths. And arm out to the side and leg out to the side. And return to balancing tabletop before we bring both back down. Good, we're going to go through that flow a few more times. So extend on the left side again, your leg back and your arm forward and out to the side. You're going to continue to move just at breath speed this time. So moving at your own pace, it's fine if you don't completely match my speed, but on every breath you should be moving with your flow. And opposite side again. And one more time through that cycle. Okay, good. What we're going to do next is curl our toes under, and we're going to come into our first downward facing dog of the day. So go ahead and when you're ready, inhale and exhale, push back to downward facing dog. Since this is our first down dog of the day, feel free to walk your dog to get the stretch in and feel it in your hamstrings. Everything should feel really good, each stretch. Push your heels down on each side so that you can feel that stretch go through. And inhale, come up onto your tippy toes, lifting your heels off the mat. And on your exhale, push your heels down into the mat for your ideal downward facing dog. On your inhale, lift your right leg high to the sky and step it all the way through, coming into crescent lunge. You can adjust your back leg if you need to. If you need less of a stretch, you can bring it forward, or if you want more of a stretch, bring it back more. And then push your shoulders away from your ears. You want to make sure your hip is facing forward and your go ahead, open up into warrior two, pivoting your back foot. You're going to keep your arms teed out, look over those front fingertips, and breathe. Go ahead, straighten your front leg. You're going to pivot both of your feet out to a 45-degree angle. We're going to come into goddess pose. So put your hands in prayer position and go ahead and bend your knees, squat down as low as you can go. And breathe into it, feeling it in your inner thighs. Inhale deeply and exhale. And go ahead, stand up, coming back to the warrior two. And then next, we're going to come into half moon pose and raise our legs. So you want to be sure to keep a micro bend in your front knee when you come forward. And careful to balance, putting your hand on the ground. If you lose your balance like I just did, just come back into it. And then we are going to reach towards the sky and we'll pump our legs for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And back down to warrior two. Go ahead and cartwheel your hands back down to the mat and go through your vinyasa. Shift it forward by 2 inches and drop down to low push-up. Release everything into the mat. Inhale, baby cobra, and exhale into downward facing dog. Okay, good. We're going to do the same thing on the other side, so I'm going to turn around so that you can see me. So from our downward facing dog, we're going to go through the same flow, lifting your leg to three-legged dog. Go ahead, step it through, coming into crescent lunge, shifting your hips forward, shoulders are down and away from your ears. Breathe deeply. And open up to warrior two, pivoting your back foot, keeping your arms in a straight line. Inhale deeply and exhale. Go ahead and straighten your front leg. Shift your feet out again to 45 degrees and drop into a low goddess pose. Breathe into it. And go ahead and come back to half moon on the other side. So rest your hand on the ground for balance and pump for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and drop back to warrior two. Cartwheel your hands down to the mat and go through your vinyasa. And on your inhale, push up to baby cobra, and exhale, meet me in downward facing dog. Okay, we're going to go through that flow one more time, switching back to our original left side or right side. So lift your right foot to the sky, step it through, coming into crescent. Open up to warrior two, moving at just a bit more of a flow speed. Straighten your front leg and adjust your feet so they're out at a 45-degree angle. Drop into goddess pose. Inhale and exhale. And shift it into half moon and pump for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop it back to warrior two. Cartwheel your hands down to the mat and again go through your vinyasa. Meeting in downward facing dog. Gonna go through the steps once again on the other side. Lift your left leg high to the sky. Step it through, coming up into crescent. Keeping your shoulders away from your ears. Open up to warrior two. Straighten your front leg and drop it down to goddess. Stay for a breath. And shift it into half moon. Get ready for those pumps. 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to warrior two and cartwheel your hands down to the mat. Meeting in downward facing dog, take a few grounding breaths here. Go ahead and drop down to your knees. We're going to come into gate pose. So you're going to stand on one knee and then extend your left leg out to the side while reaching your arm overhead, stretching towards that leg that's extended and up towards the sky, keeping your chest open and your heart forward. Good, go ahead and bring that hand down to the mat. We're going to come down onto our sit bones and actually bend our left leg now and extend our right leg out so you can pump for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then take your left foot, cross it over the front of your leg while keeping it extended still. We're going to come into a side plank, but use our inner thigh as well as our core strength. So lift up using your forearm and pushing your hips towards the sky, balancing just on that one leg, and breathe into it. Good, go ahead and drop it back down. Switch your left leg back again. We're going to raise for 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And once more, back to that side plank, lifting your hips up towards the sky. Go ahead and release. And we're actually just going to swap sides so that we can do the same thing on our opposite side. So now, this time with your left knee down, extend your right leg out to the side and bring that left arm overhead, arching towards your extended leg, feeling a stretch as you breathe into it. And return that hand back down to the mat. Drop your hips down. We're going to extend our left leg now and bend our right leg behind it so that we can lift and pump for 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And gonna cross over our right foot to the front so that we can come into side plank. And on your forearm, push back up to the side plank on the opposite side, breathing into it. And over time, or if you just need more for these workouts, you can add ankle weights so that you feel more tension as you're pulsing your leg through these routines as well. And release down. We're going to switch it back for pumping for 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, and one more time back to that side plank, lifting up towards the ceiling. And release back down to the mat. And go ahead and grab that yoga block. You can place it at the front of your mat so that it's ready for use. We're going to stand up actually and come to the front of our mat. With our yoga block, we're going to actually use this to increase our resistance as we squeeze our legs together. So place it in between your knees, and you want to keep it there, but while squeezing your legs together as tight as you can and coming into chair pose. So you have the option to extend your arms out in front of you, or you could bring them to prayer pose if you prefer. And you want to sit back into the pose like you're going to sit into a chair, but you should have all your weight in your heels and be able to lift your toes off the mat completely. Breathe deeply. Make sure you're paying attention to your breath. And go ahead and take that yoga block out from between your legs, lower it down to the mat, coming down to your sit bones. And you want to keep your yoga block close by, lower it all the way down one vertebrae at a time. We're going to come into bridge pose and use our yoga block in the same way where we squeeze it between our knees to give us a little bit more tension in those muscles. On your inhale, go ahead and push your hips up towards the sky And squeeze your shoulder blades underneath your body, tuck them under while clasping your hands together, and squeeze that yoga block between your knees. Take several deep inhale and exhales. Go ahead and release your hands out to the side and slowly lower down back to the mat. You can remove your yoga block and set it to the side. Go ahead, bring your knees into your chest and curl up into a tight ball, squeezing everything together. And start to rock forward and backward until you are back up to a comfortable seated position. We're going to bring the bottoms of our feet together, coming into cobbler's pose or butterfly. You don't want to push your knees down. You just kind of want to let gravity do the work. And if you lean forward more, you can. If you need more of a stretch, you can stretch your arms out in front of you, bending at the waist and keeping everything nice and clean. Go ahead and come back up. You can adjust your feet to come into easy pose, come into a comfortable seated position, and rock side to side if you need. Inhale, lifting your arms up. Exhale, pushing the air down. Cleansing breath again, up with your arms and out, back down to the ground. Last one, inhale up and exhale back down to the mat. Thank you for doing today's practice today. Go ahead and bring your hands to heart center so that we can seal in today's practice. Namaste.